So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my Stargirl trailer breakdown. Now this is going to be an interesting video because I've been wanting to talk about Stargirl for a while. Naturally, you know, I cover a few of the DC Universe shows like Doom Patrol, Titans, recently Harley Quinn. Check out my reviews for that, by the way, in the cards above. I guess they'll be there. But now we finally got a trailer for Stargirl, which was actually delayed till next year. I believe Titan Season 2 took its spot, and it was quite a few days ago now when that first trailer came out, which I really wasn't a fan of. It was very kind of, I don't know, it just had that beat to it, if you know what I mean, and it was just like, the staff chose me, and I choose you. It was just a bit like, you know, a bit cringy, but then this trailer came out, and it yeah, definitely gave justice to what the show is meant to represent, and that is something very, very cool. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, guys, is go ahead and show this trailer, as usual. You may have seen it already, you may not have. Either way, it's going to be displayed on the video, and then we'll go in to talk about what I think of it, what we see in the trailer, and everything good like that. So lo and behold, let's watch the trailer.
Starman, are you there? Starman!
The Justice Society must live on. Someone with honor must carry the torch.
I know this has been difficult. The move and a new stepfather, but we're gonna make a good life.
Hey, sorry, that's just real delicate.
What are you?
The cosmic staff is extremely temperamental. The staff's not supposed to work for anyone except Starman.
This has to be the reason the staff lit up. The staff chose me, and I choose you.
I never thought there'd be another Starman.
Stargirl.
Stargirl, new series coming spring 2020 on the CW.
So there we have it, everyone, the trailer for Stargirl. I trust you liked it. I mean, that is kind of like a first quick glimpse, I guess you would say, but there is quite a bit for us to go over. But first of all, I want to talk about, you know, what's going on with this, because you may or may not have known that this was meant to be a DC Universe original show, going along with Titans, Doom Patrol, and I guess Harley Quinn, and whatever else they have in store, but it was lined up to be a DC Universe show, quite literally a DC Universe show. But as you may see on this trailer, it's been now given to the CW, but don't make any mistake though, it will still be airing on DC Universe, but I believe a day in advance. Don't quote me on that, but you can still watch it free on the CW the day after. I think it's the day after. I don't think it's any longer than that. Could be wrong about that, but you know, a lot of people are saying, you know, what's the point in DC Universe when we could just watch it on the CW? Well, I'll tell you why, because you can watch it the day before and you won't have spoilers, and I guess I'll be reviewing it if I'm reviewing it, which I think I'm reviewing it the day before. So, do you know what I mean? There is a reason to still have DC Universe, but I get it. Some people think it lacks content, blah, 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 but that's not like the main focus of this video. There is still a reason to watch it if you want to be the first to watch it, and also not wait to the following day for the CW to air it and then watch it then. Like there'll be, if there's a massive plot and you're a really big fan of the show, and there's a spoiler, well, I guess, you know, you could have watched it on DC Universe. It's that kind of vibe, I suppose. But at the same time, you may be kind of confused by that, because in this trailer, there isn't really one calling sign for also airing on DC Universe. But I'm sure that's more down to like a licensing thing, like the kind of red tape, like, you know, whatever's happened behind the scenes here, la-di-da-da. Like if, you know, the CW now have options to display it, maybe it's something amongst that lines, where it's like, well, we wouldn't put the DC Universe label on it or at any point, whereas we're showing it, we want people to come to us, so we're just going to kind of label it as, oh, we've made this show all along, when really they didn't make it at all. Like none of it. Not an incy little bit of it was made by them. And to be fair, with the vibes of Stargirl anyway, like out of all of the DC Universe original shows like Titans, Doom Patrol, whether that's Swamp Thing and Harley Quinn, the animated series, are very, a lot more adult themed, a lot more adult oriented. Like the violence is next level in some of the shows. Like, yeah, it really is. Just thinking of various scenes in Doom Patrol and stuff. Obviously, you have swearing or cussing, whatever way you want to say it. Whereas Stargirl, whether it came to the CW or not, always had a lot more of a lighter theme to it. And if any show was to go to the CW, Stargirl would be a lot more themed towards the CW's theme, which is a lot more kind of teenagery focused, whereas, you know, don't get me wrong, Titans and stuff like that can be watched by teenagers, I suppose, but it's a lot more, I would say, R-rated, whereas Stargirl, you can watch it when you're, you know, just like the Flash, Arrow kind of thing. It's not for like 5-year-olds or 10-year-olds, but it's, you know, more for a teenage audience. But anyway, you're probably thinking, enough about that, what about the actual trailer, Boba? Like, can you stop talking about all that? But, you know, I see a lot of people talking about the whole CW stuff to this and whatnot, so hey, there we go. So let's move on to the actual trailer itself. So we have Pat Dugan, also known as Stripesy from the comics, you may or may not know, seemingly trying to reach Starman, and as he drives to this place, which could very well be the JSA headquarters, you know, like, it very much so mirrors what I would expect it to be, so I trust they're gonna revisit this location. It seems like there's quite the battle going on there, possibly with the villains of this season, who, when Stargirl finally takes that mantle, and then you have kind of Stripes, her stepfather, running along with her, you may very well have Stargirl getting justice for the death of Starman here. Now, as for like the powers and the effects of what is going on here and who's attacking Starman, it's kind of hard to make out who it is. I have a theory of who it could be, who we later see in the trailer. However, what I will say though is, through the various clips in the trailers and the fact that Pat is even able to reach Starman, I'm guessing he maybe even defeats one of them, perhaps kills one of them, or maybe just scares one of them off. Like, ultimately they're probably got to absolutely KO Starman, but, you know, he obviously somehow manages to run into the house, get a scene with Starman, and the coast seems to be clear, so like bear that in mind, I suppose. But there will definitely be remnants of that battle remaining for a future fight with Stargirl. Now, the interesting thing about this though, but it's also kind of not necessarily surprising me at the same time with what I always say, and I'll get to that in a second, is that Starman's name is Sylvester Pemberton, who was actually the Star-Spangled Kid, who also went by Skyman much later in his career. And this is who Pat Dugan, you know, Stargirl or Courtney Whitmore's stepfather, kind of fought alongside, and you even get little teases and hints in that in the trailer with like this photo, if I remember correctly. I'm not actually looking at the trailer right now. So it seems in DC Universe's Stargirl that they've kind of morphed this character to be Starman, yet also maintaining a similar origin for Courtney Whitmore to find, as we see in the trailer, Sylvester's belongings after the family kind of moved to Blue Valley, Nebraska. You even see Pat get very touchy when the cosmic staff is being moved into the house by the movers. I mean, like, I think they drop it, and yeah, that could be quite a, that thing's very powerful. I mean, Courtney Whitmore was like the second iteration of the Star-Spangled Kid, but I'm guessing in this show, once she finds the cosmic staff, they're just gonna kind of jump into just taking the mantle of Starman, but being known, of course, as Stargirl. But it would be kind of cool if they went along the Star-Spangled route for her initially, for like the first episode or something, before fully adopting the Stargirl suit and alias, but I don't know if they're gonna do that. As I always kind of say, it's both very accurate, but also morphed at the same time. I repeat this a lot, and you may say, why do you do that? It's because you get comments, you know, on my videos saying, why isn't this exactly like the comics? Or why did they change this? It's more like that thing where I like to remind people, no matter what live action iteration you get from a comic, things will be kind of changed up. There will be some insanely accurate things, there'll be a little bit of a twist on it, whilst also maintaining the kind of comic book accuracy there, and that's kind of what's going on with Sylvester's character here, considering he was a Star-Spangled Kid, but yet Starman now, and the same thing, how they might change a few other things in this show. It's just to be expected, and also that way we get kind of new innovative iterations of the classical super traditionalist comic book characters, and I'm completely down with that. And you know, it's not like your favorite shows, whether that's the Arrowverse, even Titans, Doom Patrol, or whatever you watch, doesn't do that. I mean, every story from Game of Thrones to the books to whatever is slightly changed up. So as you can tell throughout the trailer, Courtney Whitmore clearly isn't happy with the move, which is, you know, very reminiscent of the actual story, and we get various shots of Starman popping up again as Courtney finds the cosmic staff, and I have to say the effects look really great on the staff. Now, I've noticed a lot of comments out there saying that it looks a lot better than the CW effects, and whether this is on like the CW's channel itself, I've just seen it kind of everywhere, and that kind of, like, I'm not throwing shade on the CW, their effects are great for what the shows are and how they're literally a broadcast show, but as I'm kind of saying, it makes sense. This was a DC DC Universe made show, which is now gone over to the CW to be aired also, whilst as I kept mentioning earlier, it's also on the DC Universe. So I'm not saying the budget was a shite ton more than what the CW would do, but in my opinion these effects do look fairly crisp, and I would say a couple of notches, just a little couple of notches above what the CW would do. I'm not saying that the CW, now it's been CW-ified, if you will, would make it look insanely different. Of course not. They've actually done very good effects. I'm just saying, if you notice a little bit of a caliber difference there, that's because it was DC Universe. But, you know, I'm looking forward to that. Seeing that on screen from what we see in this trailer, it looks really, really kick-ass. But also, I'm just intrigued to see if we get a season 2 and this has been fully, you know, let's say it doesn't even air on the DC Universe in the future. What will the CW do there in terms, will they like maintain the budget and maintain the effects, or will it kind of like go down a step? Like, that's way too broad speculation, and I could be talking out my ass there. It's just something to bear in mind because this wasn't actually made by them. And is it just me, but does John McHale, who's playing Starman, look in this shot like Ben Affleck? Like, I could be going crazy there, but it kind of does. Like, do you see it a little bit? A little bit? By the way, as the trailer progresses along, I loved seeing Courtney kind of wield the staff here and try it out for the first time, and you can see that she's doing that typical superhero experimental scene, which ends up with her kind of blowing up a car. You know, this is just a minuscule amount of power that this cosmic staff wields. We see her knocking somebody, a villain, I'm guessing, into the sign of her Blue Valley High School. Now, I can't make out exactly who this is, but he does seem to be telekinetically throwing whether that's metal objects at her as she kind of like casts them aside. And now this could be brainwave due to the telekinesis there, but I can't guarantee that. Ultimately, we will have to wait and see, but the villains for this season, as I mentioned earlier, due to them taking out Starman, could very well be after Stargirl now that she's taking on the mantle, thus ensuring that the Justice Society survives, which they obviously don't want, and is, I believe, the dying words of Starman himself to Pat. He was just like, you know, we have to make sure the Justice Society of America kind of carries on. It didn't exactly go like that, but you know what I mean. And in the background of this kind of fight scene with Stargirl fully suited and booted, I believe we do see Stripe in the background there. I was actually thinking, as the first time I even saw this trailer, like, will we actually get to see that? Like, but it just seems that we have. It seems that he's temporarily bested. We see a little bit of like glowing from the eyes there and a bit of the suit. So looking forward to see that. Now, in terms of this whole fight, I just imagine that this is a couple of episodes in. I mean, I'd be very surprised if they have her suited up with Stripe and battling a villain in Stripe's defense all by the end of the first episode. So I'm guessing this is like maybe episode 2, maybe episode 3. Could be wrong about that, but it would just be like, wow, move, find the cosmic staff, the belt, the everything like that, and then like going out and then already battling someone like Brainwave or one of the villains who killed Starman already by the first episode. It just seems a little bit unnatural to me. So maybe this trailer is like a collection of a couple of episodes worth at least. But anyway, everyone, that is absolutely everything I've got to say about the Stargirl trailer. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to it coming out spring next year. So it could be, yeah, I mean, we don't know the exact date, but ultimately spring 2020. Obviously, this show is very, very much so helmed by Jeff Johns. He's written a shite ton of it. Now, you may or may not know the reason why Jeff Johns is so involved with this character is because he created the character. The character herself is inspired by his sister who passed away. So, you know, this show with Jeff Johns as well kind of helming it and that kind of extra level of care with it, it just kind of makes me feel a lot more reassured in the way this show will be structured, the way it will come across, the way I'm just sure it's going to be good. I would love to know your thoughts down in the comments below, guys. I know this is just a bit, you know, we didn't see a whole bunch in this trailer, but, you know, I'm sure they'll be released more closer to the time, of course, and you can trust that I will be covering that on this channel. So make sure you are subscribed with the notification bell turned on. Make sure you also check out my past couple of videos that should be appearing in the cards above or on the end card of this video, which is, you know, the Crisis reviews, part 1, part 2, part 3. Other than that, if you like this video, guys, make sure you do click the like button. It just really helps me out, helps out the channel. For some reason, YouTube really values that. So honestly, just take 2 seconds to like it. It really does make a difference. And I believe that is everything. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. And I need to think of a new name for the Justice Society people of YouTube watching, I guess. I don't even know. I can't call you all Stargirlers. But anyway, see you all in the next video. Goodbye.